Hi, I'm Stan Harstein, and I'm with Capacity Ministries, and I want to share with you a practice that we call reading through the Gospel of John. When we read through the Bible, whether it's Paul's letters, the Old Testament, or the Gospel of John, what happens is that in our mind, we create a new background. We have a context for the story, much like the picture behind me, which happens to be from the Sea of Galilee. That context helps us then to recall information as we read. Now, some of us may read through a letter of Paul, which could take 20 minutes for Philemon, Philippians, or an hour and a little bit more for Romans. But very seldom do we sit down at one point in time and read through an entire gospel. That could take 2 to 3 hours. The reason why we should do that is that if I only read a chapter or two, and it takes me 10 to 20 days to get through the Gospel of John, then I don't recall when I'm done what I read at the beginning. And so it's very hard for my mind to actually draw the inferences that the Gospel is asking me to remember. Stories that are related, but I haven't dealt with in 2 weeks. So, how should I go about reading at one sitting the Gospel of John? Well, the first thing we have to do is have some time management. It's really necessary to schedule time. I would suggest a 4-hour block. Now, it won't take that long to read, but I would hate to be cut short. The second thing that we need to do is identify when we're going to do that. It could be during the day, or it could be on a weekend. But we're going to have to set aside some time to say yes to the Gospel of John and no to all those other activities that entice us. The second thing that we should have available is a pencil and paper. We're going to have random thoughts jump into our mind. Things about the text that we're reading that we want to remember, and so we can jot that down. But more often, it's things outside the text. Things we need to buy at the grocery store, errands we need to run, people we need to call, cards we need to write, all those myriad of things that just keep us distracted. By having that piece of paper, we can jot those things down and they're gone from our mind. They are in a better place for remembering and we don't have to think about them anymore. And pretty soon we will have a clear mind for reading. The third thing is to find a text. Now, it's my recommendation that you find a text that does not have chapter and verses. This allows the words to flow more smoothly. Sometimes chapters break well, sometimes verses break well, but frequently they do not. And if we're always paying attention to the verses, then we don't actually read through the story. It may also help us to read more quickly than we do with the chapter and verse breaks. So having done that, we need to then simply read. Take the time, and at the end, thank God for the time. Time to hear about His kingdom, time to hear about His compassion for humanity, time to hear about how we can now live in the kingdom of God and help other people begin to see the great and mysterious kingdom that God has. And so for Capacity Ministries, I encourage you to engage in this activity. And if you want to contact us, you have the contact information on the email. Thanks and have a great day.